Howdy, 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 my name is Anachi Sasuke, and welcome back to Let's Read the SCP Foundation Wiki. In this episode, we're going to be checking out at least a formal discussion, son of an expletive redacted, the Workaholic, WONDERTAINMENT LAND, and Clothes Dryer. So, let's see. SCP-946 is to be kept in the center of a 5x5x5 meter windowless soundproof containment chamber. The only light source in the room is to be a single spotlight situated directly above 946. Cameras and audio recording devices monitor 946 at all times to ensure all activity is recorded. A minimum of one skilled debater is to remain on call at all times. Anyone who observes a debate between 1 and 2 where classified Foundation information is revealed for which they do not have clearance is to be administered Class A amnestics. Alright? SCP-946 is a wooden table with 2 accompanying chairs. At unpredictable intervals ranging from 2 to 4 times per week, 2 men will appear, designated 1 and 2, taking the 2 seats. 1 and 2 will then have a civil argument or debate about a random subject. The topic of these arguments is varied from existential concepts to trivial and mundane subjects. In some circumstances, these debates have focused on a hypothetical event and the merits of its occurrence. In these cases, the outcome of the argument manifests itself in reality. At any time during the debate, an outside observer may join the debate, with a new chair appearing at the table and the dimensions of the table altering to fit all parties. Should any of the guests make an ad hominem argument or make an intentionally false or misleading statement, one will criticize them. If they continue, one will state that they are no longer welcome in the debate, at which point their chair will disappear. Any further attempts for the subject to communicate with 1 or 2 will be ignored. Following Incident Blank, see Addendum 2, it has become clear that 1 and 2 appear to possess omniscience, or at minimum, any knowledge that may be relevant to the discussion. 1 and 2 appear physically to be normal humans. 1 is a tall black man with short gray hair and a long beard, who is referred to as Harmon, sorry, I went a little JoJo for a second. 2 is a thin bald white man who is referred to as Garshin. When arguing, both men seem capable of creating three-dimensional images and summoning small objects as a means of simulating events or providing information. Addendum 1, on July 24th something, see Incident Report 12, which isn't here, so we won't be seeing anything. 1 and 2 requested that 946 never be exposed to multiple light sources during one of their debates. In the event that it is exposed to multiple light sources, all but one light source will fail. It is unknown how 946 achieves the selective nature of this effect. Prior to this request, 946 did not exhibit this behavior. Upon questioning, 2 explained that a debate had led to the conclusion that a single light source improves the mood. Addendum 2, Incident Report 946 blank on April the 8th something, 1 and 2's discussion shifted focus unexpectedly to the subject of gravity. The debate included mention of several concepts in theoretical physics, including string theory redacted and data expunged. Both men seemed familiar with the concepts barely understood by modern science, as well as a previously undemonstrated knowledge of several highly classified Foundation documents, most notably 536's test logs. 946-1 was arguing against the existence of gravity, while 2 considered and commented on his arguments. Roughly 14 minutes into the discussion, on-duty researcher Dr. Blank entered the containment chamber and joined the debate. On later questioning, Dr. Blank claimed he was simply stopping a potential disaster. He argued that without gravity, the universe as a whole would cease to exist in its current form. One responded by pointing out that the future form could easily be superior. 2 agreed with Dr. Blank, who continued to argue with 1 for nearly 2 hours before, frustrated, 1 gave up. Containment procedures updated in light of this event. Object class upgrade to Keter pending approval. Good on you, Doctor, whatever your name was, good on you. Do not let the universe stop having gravity. That would be bad and I wasn't expecting Keter to just whop. I was not expecting son of an expletive redacted to be Keter, but there it is, and there's... You don't dribble pepperonis, get out of here. What happened to the NyQuil commercials? NyQuil didn't do this. SCP-947 is stored on a text file, and a USB drive. This drive is currently stored in a secure locker in the Site-42 Digital Armory. Junior researcher Gautam Ramesh is currently working with Mobile Task Force Upsilon 4 Sugar Pill to develop a counter-memetic agent for 947. SCP-947 is a contagious memetic expletive defined by its creator as meaning a really fake annoying person or thing that you wish would just naff off already. Sick. And an English speaker who hears or reads 947 will automatically understand its definition, know the name of its creator, and begin to incorporate it into their vocabulary. Over time, affected individuals will gradually replace all expletives in their vocabulary with 947. 947 first came to the attention of the Foundation June 30th, 2017, when it was used in tweets by members of the British cabinet. The anomalous properties of 947 were immediately recognized due to the insertion of its creator's name. An investigation of the cabinet's social media activity traced the meme to a tweet made by one Gautam Ramesh, an Indian immigrant living with his parents in Leeds, England. Ramesh sent the initial infection vector via Twitter and Facebook to the social media accounts of several British defense contractors, where it rapidly spread and was able to infect the British cabinet within 2 days. Ramesh's initial tweet was as follows: "You should check out this cool technology, you'll look like an expletive redacted." His Facebook post was as follows: "Hi all, I've just come up with a very cool new technology. Idea is in words. Help me spread the word or you'll look like a real expletive redacted." At this time, 947 is used by approximately blank % of all English speakers worldwide. Okay. There's no telling what that word was because it looks like this SCP article came into existence at least June 2017 and was edited the beginning of March. Shortly after the identification of 497's anomalous properties, Ramesh was brought in for an interview. Junior researcher Ashwin Pichai was chosen to interview him due to Pichai's previous exposure to 947. Extraneous introductions are made. Anyways, I'd like to ask you about the word expletive redacted. Oh, yeah, sure. What do you want to know? Well, how does it work? There's nothing else even remotely like it that exists in the world. Oh, yeah. This is pretty cool stuff. I mean, so, the human brain is like a computer, yeah? Yes. So, if the brain is a computer, maybe you can program it like one. That's pretty much what language is, if you think about it. You teach people through, like, writing and speaking and feed them knowledge and that sort of thing. And you feed people information through speaking and writing, and they process it automatically. So I was thinking about that one day, and I was wondering, the brain is like a computer, right? So maybe you could create a brain virus. I mean, a computer virus for, like, the brain. Not like a real virus, like Ebola or something. No, something that when you hear it, you automatically process it and start replicating it. I see. That sounds a lot like a meme. Yeah, actually. Something like, keep calm and carry on. Well, actually, that's a bad example. Something like, Don't worry, I know what you mean. But those kinds of memes are just things that are easy to remember or fun to parrot. Expletive redacted doesn't just do that. It actively hijacks the brain, making people only use it as a swear even if they try to say something else. How did you accomplish that? Language is the key thing, right? When you hear a new word, you have to remember what it means. The word is meaningless by itself. You also need to know the meaning or the context of the word for it to do anything. But once you know the meaning, the brain automatically processes the word to have that meaning in the future. So the trick is figuring out how to make the word encode the meaning in and of itself. And if you can do that, then you can encode a lot more stuff into it. Stuff like making the brain want to use it as a curse word exclusively. The breakthrough was data redacted by order of Department of Memetics, and so once I had the actual software, I just needed to wrap it up in an actual word and give it a meaning. I also included my name in it, as a watermark. Speaking of languages, we've noticed that people who don't speak or understand English are unaffected by the word. Why is that? So, going back to the computer analogy, right? You know what a programming language is? This is basically the same thing. Expletive redacted is a program written in English, so your brain needs to be able to run English to run it. So why did you pick expletive redacted specifically? Why that meaning in particular? I mean, I'm looking for a job. Programming the human brain is cool, but you know what the economy's been like. I thought the military or the government would be pretty interested in this kind of thing, yeah? Expletive redacted is a proof of concept. It's pretty harmless and even helpful. It stops people from using actual harmful swears and, like, racial slurs. But if you can do that, you could do stuff like, perhaps, hypnotize terrorists and stuff. Like, actually hypnotize them. So I was trying to get the government's attention, show them that I can take the initiative and that I can really help them out. You work for the government, right? I'm a self-motivated worker. I have experience with Python and C. I've got a master's degree in neuroscience, and I have work experience. I can send you my resume. Didn't the top of the thing say he works for the foundation? Junior researcher, yeah. Okay, so that's interesting. Now it's time for the Workaholic. I guess it's Keter because if someone sees the word, they're just stuck with it. But it's not actually hurting anybody. Oh, hey, the rainbow icon is back. And so are the pepperonis. Eventually, I'm going to stop commenting on it, but it keeps, like, blocking half the words. So that's why it draws my attention to it every time it pops up. And I'm going to try to get better about not actually going, hey, look, pepperonis. Because, like, my vocal cords are getting sick of the word. My brain is getting sick of the word. Y'all are probably getting sick of it, but there it is. So, SCP-948 is contained within Area IE-05. No extra precautions are required for the area beyond standard secrecy and amnestic procedures for a Foundation teaching and research center within a civilian campus. I guess this is written by someone in the other side of the world. 948 is to be regularly medically examined, with blood work taken at least once a month. Where possible, these examinations should occur within Area IE-05, with a focus on allowing 948 freedom to continue speaking. All of the staff and students are permitted to enter and exit the Pythagoras Theater freely, with use of a timesheet to be posted outside the theater daily. Supervisors are to be assigned on rotation to ensure 948 is monitored at all times, and that no individuals spend excessive amounts of time with the object. 948 should be provided with chalk, markers, and other materials as appropriate. This is also the responsibility of the supervisors, with reimbursement of up to £200 per annum allowable from the site's petty cash fund. Okay. SCP-948 is Seamus O'Taughil, a former surgeon in the Mater Hospital, Dublin. Okay, it's in that country. 948 has been continuously lecturing on a variety of medical subjects in the Pythagoras Theatre, Trinity College, Dublin, since July 4th, 1984. 948 shows I'm gonna just say Seamus. Seamus shows an anomalous healing effect, which physically injured subjects introduced to its lecture theater, with the subjects healing if it discusses relevant medical procedures. This effect does not seem to be any more effective than traditional medicine, but can offer improvement when used in conjunction. Testing on this aspect of Seamus is limited due to ethical concerns. Applications for testing may be made to the area director to be judged on a case-by-case basis, with appeals to the Ethics Committee allowed. The Ethics Committee's ruling is final in all such cases. Seamus does not display any healing effect with injuries or illnesses that he is not familiar with. Beginning January the 1st, 2015, a reading list of textbooks and medical papers has been provided to Seamus to keep him up to date with modern medicine, which has shown a marked increase in his healing ability. Footnote 2. Suggested additions to this list can be made via form that. Seamus also displays a minor secondary calming effect, with many people entering the theater while he is lecturing report feeling refreshed and safe regardless of their previous condition. Prolonged exposure to this effect can lead to short-term dizziness and trouble with fine motor skills. These effects generally only manifest after 12 to 15 hours of continuous exposure to the object, and thus are considered negligible. Seamus shows physical signs of extreme emaciation and sleep deprivation, but does not seem to need food, drink, or sleep, and commonly refuses them when offered, preferring not to interrupt his lectures. As of 1995, Seamus has begun accepting offers of water and other drinks in order to clear the pipes. As such, it will now take occasional breaks to urinate. Seamus' supervisor is to accompany him on any bathroom breaks. Seamus becomes extremely aggravated when removed from the lecture theater or otherwise prevented from lecturing, often requiring restraint. He has proven amicable in all other aspects of interaction, allowing medical procedures to go ahead without argument so long as they do not impede his lecturing. Discovery. Seamus was brought to the Foundation's attention on the third day of his lecture, what was then believed to be a marathon world record attempt. The building was cleared and news disseminated that the anomaly had collapsed from exhaustion during the fifth day of lecturing. As two Foundation teaching centers were already located within the college at the time, negotiation of a change of department was relatively smooth, and the now permanent Area IE-5 was established around the object. Addendum. Dr. Eleanor Bridge, a researcher recently employed at Area IE-5, has shown to be resistant to Seamus' calming effect. Dr. Bridge has been assigned as a specialist supervisor tasked with befriending Seamus for the purposes of the cooperation and general quality of life of the object. Okay, selected conversation transcripts. I'm not going to try to do an accent right now, I'm just going to read it. I don't really have time for interruptions, Eleanor. We need to get through this topic within this lecture. I just wanted to give you these books before I headed out. They're letting you have them now, basic medicine stuff, but maybe some things you mightn't be up to date with? I can get you anything you'd like within reason. I appreciate the thought, of course, Eleanor, but I do wish you'd wait until I finish my lectures to bring them to me. I never seem to catch the end, Seamus. I'm terrible, aren't I? Always trying to slip out early. I must be your worst student. Eleanor, you mustn't joke about yourself like that. You're a wonderful student. You're rather one of my favorites. Thank you. That's actually really nice to know. Let's see. Eleanor, late as always. You know me, Seamus, always sleeping in. Did I miss anything important? Oh, this and that. Listen, I was reading your textbook the other day. It's wonderful how medicine has progressed. I rejected much of it at first, but I realize now I'm simply behind the times. It's been quite some time since I've educated myself on modern science, it seems. It's great that you're so open to it. I used to be very close-minded, you know, but a life in medicine teaches you to always be open to new ideas. I had a colleague. Have I ever told you about Cillian? You haven't. Wonderful surgeon, wonderful man. He was always so open to things. New ideas, experiences, taught me a lot. Eleanor, I was thinking, since I seem to be utterly useless as a teacher, why don't I turn this lecture into something more of a debate? I believe we could stand to learn from each other, you and the other students here. It's your lecture, Seamus. I'm sure the higher-ups won't mind. Right, yes, your higher-ups. Go and let them know. Maybe this time they won't drag me away. Rubs the bandage over his hand. You know that was for your own health, Seamus. We only ever... Please, don't try to persuade me. I know I acted rashly in the heat of things. Stubborn old man, not at all ready to finish my lecture. Please just don't lump yourself in with them, dear. Go on and grab a seat now. Records show Cillian McBride worked with 948 between 1961 and 1980 in the Mater Hospital. His close friendship with Seamus was noted by their mentors from early in their residencies, and there is evidence that they stayed in contact following McBride's move to America in 1980 to pursue a well-paid position at Johns Hopkins Hospital, Baltimore. Okay, new log. Oh, Eleanor, leaving so soon? You know me, Seamus, always trying to slip out early. I'm actually going to be gone for a while. Before you say that, I've been meaning to ask you something. Not quite relevant to the lecture, Eleanor, but... Yes? Well... I was I don't know if I should read this. I was reading DSM-5, and I couldn't find an entry for homosexuality. Could it have another name now, perhaps? I saw that gender dysphoria was finally added, which I must say is rather an improvement, at least in my view. Well... It was considered somewhat backward to consider it a mental illness? There's nothing wrong with being gay or bi or whatever, just cultural bias. Lots of people reckon it should be the same with dysphoria, actually. Are you aware of the referendum? The one people have been wearing all those yes pins for? It's to legalize marriage equality across all genders, passed last week. Well, I think that's a wonderful step forward in thinking, truly wonderful. My friend Cillian would have been delighted. He was a gay man. He'd have been delighted. You don't talk about him much. Cillian was an activist when they were rather dire. Well, it wasn't a good time, and Cillian had the courage to speak up. I never did, always was too scared to lose my job, I guess. Seamus shakes his head. I shouldn't be talking about this in the middle of a lecture. Rather unprofessional, my apologies. Well, where were we? Right, okay, counseling the parents of children who have been recently diagnosed with terminal disease. Tough topic. Dr. Bridge attempts to say goodbye to Seamus, but is ignored. After some hesitation, Dr. Bridge leaves the lecture hall without Seamus seeming to notice. Follow-up investigation by American branches of the Foundation show that McBride was fired from his job in Johns Hopkins Hospital following a diagnosis of HIV/AIDS in 1982. McBride died of pneumonia in 1984, leaving a large part of his estate to Seamus. Based on average delivery speeds between Baltimore and Dublin at the time, it is estimated Seamus would have received news of McBride's death and its inheritance between the 21st and 28th of June, 1 to 2 weeks before beginning his lecture. Dr. O'Titled... I don't know how to say that. Can I interrupt for a bit? Seamus, dear, call me Seamus. Seamus, can I ask you about something personal? Some medical ailment, Eleanor. You're usually rather healthy, at least to my knowledge. It's sort of a health thing, I guess. I wouldn't ask like this normally, but I'm fed up of dealing with it myself. Feel free to share. I'm not under oath, but I promise not to pass it on. Not a soul will hear what you say here, I swear it. You do know we're recorded here, right? Well, I'd forgotten, but yes, does rather take the wind out of my sails. Regardless, Eleanor, I'd be happy to help you out with whatever your issue is. Do you know why I was assigned to you, Seamus? I'd assumed it was due to how well we got on. Originally, though, before we officially met when I'd only observed your lectures. Well, no. I wasn't aware you were assigned to me in any sense that early on. It's because I don't experience... Well... My file says I'm resistant to SCP-948's calming effect, but what it really means is I don't get all happy and dopey when I walk in here, because I don't... She pauses for a second before continuing rubbing her wrists. I'm not happy, Seamus. I don't know if I'm able to be happy. Eleanor, that's terrible. I'm glad you're talking to me, though, before you go off and... Well... Before you make any rash decisions. I already have. I tried to kill myself last year. That's why I haven't been around for a while. I don't think you noticed. Eleanor, oh my god. I really don't know what to say. That's, yeah, I honestly wouldn't either. Please, Eleanor, what can I do for you? Can you fix me? Seamus does not reply for some time. He removes his glasses and wipes them slowly, then places them back on his face. Eleanor, what you're asking for, you don't fix people, not in that way. You fixed others, though, I've seen it, just by talking, lecturing, bones healed, skin patched, giant scars just gone. You cured a kid of cancer after a day of reading up on it, so you can fix me, right? You have to be able to. Seamus appears extremely uncomfortable. Eleanor, what you're describing is impossible. That's not how medicine works. But I've seen you do it. Not read about it, not seen it on a camera, but actually watched as you cured people without even touching them. Look, I've got a book on depression and brain chemistry shit in my bag. Can you just... No! These things you claim, either you're lying or there's some perversion of your sick mind. Don't push your madness on me. Ask me to play along. Dr. Bridge begins to cry. I'm a man of medicine, Eleanor, of science. Never in my life has someone come to me with such astounding lies. I thought better of you. You can't even imagine I'm telling the truth? That there are wonders of science you haven't ever dreamed of? You've been lecturing for 32 years, Seamus! Non-stop! You never stop to wonder how you manage that? Don't be absurd, I can't stop. Just pack up and waltz out into a world I don't recognize, a world without... Look, I'm here now, and I'm teaching, and that's all that matters. All that matters. You don't know what it means to try and live in a world that doesn't accept you. A world where you're a damn criminal for who you are. A world without him. There's a long silence. After approximately 4 minutes, Seamus opens his mouth to speak, then closes it without saying anything. Conversation resumes after 9 minutes of silence. I've been monstrous just now, Eleanor. I didn't think I had it in me to lash out like that. I hope you can accept that I'm truly sorry to have spoken to you that way. In truth, I've suspected myself for... Well, I suppose for a number of decades. What you've been through... I've been through it myself in my own way. Denying reality, trying to find a way out. Eleanor, what you're asking of me, it won't work. You don't fix anger and heartbreak like you fix muscle and sinew. What you need is a therapist. Someone more up to date than this old corpse. I have a therapist now, actually. I had to so I could be cleared to work. Adelaide, she's lovely, but it's all just so fucking frustrating, you know? I read 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Dr. Bridge sniffs and wipes her nose on her sleeve. A memorandum. Let me click that. Yeah. I've never understood that expression, to be quite frank. Ultimately, aren't you one more step forward each time? Dr. Bridge does not reply. I can't magic away your pain, Eleanor, but I can talk. I'll always be here too. Can't bloody escape, really, I'm a hell of a workaholic. Dr. Bright laughs weakly between sobs. I'm terrible, aren't I? Always trying to slip out early? Now, Eleanor, you mustn't joke about that. You're one of my favorites. That was nice. What was that entry again? Safe? Okay. I would get to this entry with the rainbow icon. What's the memorandum? Official Ethics Committee Memorandum from Dr. Adelaide Kayam, Site 43 Psychologist and Humanoid Anomaly Specialist, to Dr. Jeremiah Sumerian, Ethics Committee Liaison, Harassment of Dr. Scott Fletcher. I'm not going to read that. The WONDERTAINMENT LAND! It says it's safe, but Marty the Moose is making me uncomfortable. Well, you ready? The area in which SCP-949 manifests itself is to be surrounded by 2-meter-tall electrical fencing. The perimeter of the containment area is to be patrolled by guards at all times, operating in groups of 4. Due to the size of WONDERTAINMENT LAND, the use of vehicles is authorized during security protocol. Any civilians approaching WONDERTAINMENT LAND are to be taken into Foundation custody and dosed with Class A amnestic. Exploration of WONDERTAINMENT LAND is to be carried out using disposable dudes. Exploration of WONDERTAINMENT LAND must be authorized by 3 members of Level 4 personnel. WONDERTAINMENT LAND is a large amusement park located in the state of blank, which according to the entrance gate and several documents within the park, is designated Wondertainment Land, all rights reserved. Wondertainment Land has been observed to periodically disappear from its location on several occasions, often reappearing several days away after, with new facilities. Facilities inside Wondertainment Land demonstrate highly anomalous properties, more information on which is available in Facility Log 1, which is down there. These anomalous facilities do not appear to intentionally cause harm to humans, and no casualties have occurred during exploration, as of yet. All of Wondertainment Land's facilities are staffed and maintained by Instances of One. Instances of One appear to similar to typical amusement park mascots, and their costumes depict a variety of animals. All Instances of One seem to wear a unique costume, and no duplicates have ever been sighted to date. Autopsy of recovered one instances show that their interior is composed entirely of wool, confirming a lack of human presence. Instances consistently maintain a cheerful attitude despite the situation, even when being dissected or otherwise injured. Several advertisements for SCPs currently in containment are present in the form of posters or souvenirs. SCPs depicted in these advertisements include, but are not limited to, data expunged. All SCPs depicted appear to be related to the individual or organization known as Dr. Wondertainment. This, together with the name of the amusement park, suggests that it is the creation of this entity. Let's see this interview right here. Okay, interviewer, Disposable 94923, reading questions from Dr. Blank, talking to Sammy the Salamander. Hello, SCP-949-1. Hiya, Blank! What? How do you know my name? One appears uneasy at this point. Welcome to Wondertainment Land! Never mind, I guess, can you identify yourself? I'm Sammy the Salamander! Where does 949 go when it disappears? The park isn't ready yet, friend! What do you mean it's not ready? Sorry, kid, Sammy has to go now! Goodbye! Gone. Closing statement. After the interview, they fled at a remarkable speed. Facility log. Facility name Hookaduck. Maintained by Frank the Fox. The facility contains several anime duck toys, which the subject must retrieve from a central pool area using a hook. The duck toys demonstrate panic and pain when hooked. When the subject succeeded in retrieving 3 animate duck toys, the maintaining one rewarded them with a large teddy bear. Spooky Manor, maintained by Birdie the Bat. The facility resembles a haunted house attraction present in many regular amusement parks. Upon entering the facility, the subject appeared to have several limbs and a human head stitched to it. The subject was not aware of these additions until they were brought to its attention. The human head attached appeared to give the subject informational rides as they explored the park. Random River Rapids, maintained by Terry the Trout. Facility appears to be a river ride similar to those used in regular amusement parks. The subject remained in the facility for 30 minutes before emerging. The subject reported no abnormalities other than the presence of several sea creatures with seemingly randomly positioned limbs, eyes, and gills. Bumper Cars by Billy the Badger. Facility is a bumper cars attraction identical to those used in regular amusement parks. Upon entering a bumper car, all the cars in the facility began moving independently and attempting to consume each other using rudimentary jaws formed from splits in the metal. When the subject fell out of their bumper car, they were ignored, and the other bumper cars continued to consume each other until a loud buzzer sounded. Cars immediately ceased movement and began to regrow missing sections, which displayed different coloration than the original portions. Well, at least they didn't eat the dude. They could have eaten the dude. Document delivered to Overseer HQ by an unknown entity on blankety blank blank. Greetings! Due to their continued support of our products, Dr. Wondertainment would like to cordially invite his valued customers to the grand opening of Wondertainment Land. The grand opening will take place on blankety blank blank, and Dr. Wondertainment hopes it will be a fun-filled night for the whole family. Guests will have access to all of the park facilities, and will be invited to watch the soon-to-be-released fiery fireworks, all rights reserved. As Dr. Wondertainment is sure the O5 Council will attend, representatives of Dr. Wondertainment will arrive to escort them to Wondertainment Land on the morning before the grand opening. Hope to see you soon, Dr. Wondertainment. Jazz hands. Okay, so. And that brings us to Clothes Dryer. I'm going to say Euclid. It's safe, though. There's a photograph of it inactive. What does it do when it's active? Does it scream? Does it bleed? It will. Goodbye, helicopter. SCP-950 is to be stored in a well-lit room with a video camera in one corner and is to remain plugged into an isolated electrical generator. The output resulting from the completion of 950's activity must be handled with extreme caution. All non-Class D personnel must handle the laundry or any baskets containing the laundry with sterile gloves and hospital-grade masks. All output is to be inspected and photographed as directed by the lead of 950 testing. All All articles output are to be incinerated afterwards unless directed by the lead of testing. So is it just spitting out clothes? Personnel who wish to volunteer their own laundry must first be vetted, and the contents of their submission must be inspected before they are granted entry to the testing room. SCP-950 is a black-colored dryer of the Redacted series from GE. All components match with usual examples of the series, though GE has never made them in black. When the machine is started on any setting, any laundry within the machine goes through the normal tumbling and drying process. However, halfway through the determined cycle, the contents will begin to change or disappear entirely. When the cycle ends and the door is opened, what is found is a collection of clothing entirely different from what was put in. Input objects that are not clothing also go through this process and end up as laundry in the same manner. When the machine is empty, the cycle runs as normal and no transformation occurs. All tests have shown that the resultant laundry has never been seen before by any person who owned the input clothing. As well, in almost all cases, the output articles are much dirtier than those input and are often covered in stains. Human and other animal bodily fluids of all known kinds have been recorded on various articles of clothing, and there have been several with contagious viruses, including Ebola and Redacted. Occasionally, some articles have tears and cuts corresponding to those that would have been made by various kinds of weapons. DNA samples have been drawn from many of the output articles. Some samples match those of victims of crime or disease, and more match with those with people who are listed as healthy and suffered only temporary illness or injury. About 40% of the DNA samples are either animal DNA or human DNA that has not been previously recorded in any database. 3 articles have had residues of crushed insects of previously undiscovered species. 1 article data expunged no known life on Earth. Addendum. To better illustrate the condition of the output clothing, 3 excerpts from tests have been added. For photographs and complete transcripts of more tests, see document 950 Gamma. I don't know if it's here or not. Doesn't seem to be. Submitted articles. 5 standard issue disposable dude uniforms previously washed and dried. 1 civilian sport jacket, large size. 3 pairs of plain white ankle socks, lightly used and unwashed. 6 pairs of underwear recently washed and still wet. Settings used tumble dry, 60 minutes colors. What they got back was a white tank top, women's fit, dried bloodstain with a small knife tear in the stomach area. 1 black sports sock balled up with dried saliva stains. 1 pair of children's-sized pajama pants torn the outside of the left leg, and 2 pairs of men's medium-sized underwear stained with blank and blank blank. Okay, next test, they submitted a 25 by 25 square of heavily worn and dirty carpet, 2 standard disposable pillowcases, 1 week since previous washing, a king-size bedsheet from researcher Garton's living quarters had not been washed for 30 days, small dry blood stain in the corner. They used tumble dry 60 minutes for heavies. It gave back a twin-size bedsheet covered in a layer of rotten biological residue. Later analysis revealed it to be mostly human skin and muscle that had been left in very salty water for at least 6 months. A formal men's tuxedo displaying signs of advanced age and decomposition. Staff believe it to be between 10 and 15 years old, and traces of human flesh and bone remain on the inside, as well as traces of soil on the outside surfaces. Yeah. 4 pairs of ladies' hosiery, heavily stained by sweat. Analysis proved inconclusive as to the identity of the wearers, as one was torn in multiple places, while the other 3 of the same pattern were intact. 2 infant-sized button-up shirts, both dark blue. Both have name Peter written on the tag in the neck in blue ink, and no unusual stains or residues were observed on either. Okay, they submitted 5 small plastic children's toys without any complex electronics or metal parts, selected to avoid damage to the inside of the machine. They put it tumble dry 30 minutes for delicates. It gave back 5 plastic wristbands as used by modern morgues to identify bodies. Each wristband had the name of a child that had died due to ingesting small toys or parts of toys. It should be noted that each name was traced to a different country and that all 5 had died in the last year. Okay. So, that about does it for this episode of Let's Read the SCP Foundation Wiki. We're probably not going to reach SCP-1000 by episode 200. Apologies. But, in the next episode, we'll be checking out my friend Lucas, NP Rock, Polymorphic Humanoid, Vocalizing Frogs, and Mr. Sillybug, who I would imagine is another little mister. If you liked it, a like and a subscribe will be groovy. If you didn't, you'll need to do either one of those things, and I will see y'all in the next one. Later.